Traditional physical therapy is a complete waste of time and money, yet it is still the most prescribed treatment out there for any injury. If it doesn't work, then why does it still get prescribed all the time? The answer is multifactored, and some parts of it will leave you shaking your head at the messed up world of traditional healthcare. In this episode, I dive deep into why traditional physical therapy is not going to fix your injury and what to do instead. I hope you enjoy the show. Episode 3, got a good one today. Why traditional, once again, traditional, I'll say it one more time, traditional physical therapy is a complete waste of time and money, yet is still the most prescribed treatment out there for an injury. So let's get right into it. So I had a story, I remember this, I got encountered with this probably a couple of years ago, and a client had come into our office, had been dealing with stuff for a long time. She had gone to physical therapy for 96 visits. 96 visits. In our clinics and everyone trained in the peak method, we have this rule called the 5-visit rule. And if you're not showing substantial improvement in the first 5 visits, then the treatment isn't going to work for you. Unfortunately, that physical therapist did not present that as well. And the insurance kept paying for it. It was cheap. It was ineffective. And that's what you get. Another story. This was an encounter with an orthopedic surgeon that was in my area. And I was still fresh out of school, still trying to figure it out, getting it all together, knowing that I was a soft tissue specialist, and that's what I wanted to do. My mother had had some shoulder problems for a long time and hadn't really given me a chance to treat her accordingly. You know how it goes with family members. You never really give them a chance for that. And before we went to the appointment, I wrote down on a piece of paper exactly what he was going to say, exactly what he was going to do, and what he was going to prescribe. And sure as shit, what did he prescribe? 6 weeks of physical therapy and a cortisone shot. He came in, recommended that, which I've talked about this over and over again. 6 weeks of PT and cortisone are the start to the pain pill epidemic. Yep, that's where it starts. 6 weeks of PT and cortisone. Have you ever heard that before? Yeah, you know what it's like. So I kindly asked the doctor to leave the room so me and my mother could talk. She looked at what I wrote down. She's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, yep, let's get the fuck out of here. On the way out, the doctor was standing there with the needle ready to go. And he said, you're not going to do the shot? It's like, no way in hell. Let's get out of here. And then what I also noticed on the script was this doctor owned the physical therapy clinic too. Does that not sound like a conflict of interest or some kickback shit? Yeah. That happens all the time. It's like, here you go. Go do this PT that I know is not going to work. Here's this cortisone that's just going to make things worse. You know what? I can do a much more expensive surgery on the back end. The medical system's fucked up. It is really, really bad. And this is what's happening all the time. And we wonder why we're in a pain pill epidemic. No wonder. Because we got a bunch of jackasses that are just trying to make money off of people and selling them stuff that they don't need to get them worse so they can justify a surgery on the back end that only makes things worse. So why doesn't traditional physical therapy work? Well, let me give a couple caveats here and some nuances so we know exactly what I'm talking about. So traditional physical therapy, I'm talking about like where they just do some exercises, some heat and some stim, send you home with a sheet of things to do. They never really put their hands on you. That's what I'm talking about, traditional physical therapy. So anytime we're trying to fix an injury, there's an order of operations. First step is we have to restore range of motion. We have to get range of motion back. Range of motion is limited, and you can't fix that with exercises and stretches. What's really happening there is the tissue has gotten overused, beat up, and it's developed a lot of scar tissue. Scar tissue is like glue that gets inside the muscle, makes the muscle less flexible. So you got to get that range of motion back because that's what started in the first place. Next one is once you get that range of motion back, you got to balance strength because there's going to be some weakness in there. And then the last one is you have to increase overall strength. So what happens is everyone always jumps to number 3. They're like, what exercise can I do to fix this? You can't. it doesn't work. I want to use it like a house analogy. Say we're building a house, and everybody knows that we need to lay the foundation down first, which in this analogy would be restoring range of motion. So what's happening with physical therapy and traditional physical therapy is they're trying to put the roof and the siding on before they ever laid the foundation, and they wonder why people don't get any better. And then they just keep coming back and back and back again because insurance pays for it. So if insurance pays for it, might as well keep going because they ain't money out of your pocket. It's your time. Your injury gets worse. It's effort. It sucks to go to something that you know doesn't work, but you're like, well, my insurance covers it, so fuck it, I'll keep going. It ain't going to get you anywhere. Quick waiver for any angry physical therapists out there. I get a lot of hate mail from this. Any angry physical therapists out there that always throw things in my face and say, where's your double-blind placebo study, blah, 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 blah. Scar tissue is not real, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff. They're just projecting their own insecurities, but I definitely think physical therapy is needed after surgery. But the problem is, a lot of those people didn't need surgery in the first place. It's all about money. Here's the hard reality. Medicine is a big business, and everyone has a piece and wants you to fit into a cookie cutter approach. Yet the human body is so complex, and each case has so many factors. So what to do? First off, never get a cortisone injection or shot. That stuff is nasty. It makes things worse. I'm actually going to cover that in the next podcast, why cortisone shots are garbage, and so is the doctor who gave it to you. Next thing, ask questions about why these things are happening. Are there actual tests to show you're improving? Does the therapist actually put their hands on you for the majority of the session? In 5 visits, are you seeing an improvement? Ask those questions. Ask them, what's my diagnosis? How do I know I'm going to get better? Is the therapist using their hands on me? I've done this for 5 visits. Do I feel better? If not, get the hell out of there and find yourself a soft tissue injury expert trained in my method, the Peak Method. And there's a link in the show notes. That's all I got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Share it with other people you know it can help. Send me a message if you have any questions or any topics you'd like me to cover. Appreciate your time and listening, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.